Howdy folks and welcome. This video will be different than the others since we'll be focusing on a specific topic in gaming rather than a game itself. As we round the year up, I've noticed a strange controversy in the gaming community, one that I don't fully understand why it's gaining so much traction. What controversy involves Dave the Diver and Amnesia the Dark Descent? Let's find out. I'm assuming the reason you like playing games is that fact itself. They're fun to you. In your opinion, a good game, no matter the size or budget, will still be a good game if it's made by Valve or by Supergiant Games. Good games require time, energy, and dedication. There are some pretty gnarly looking games out there on Steam's new and noteworthy, but there's also some absolute gems. What ideological schism is happening right now in the sector of indie gaming? It really comes down to how we define what an indie game is. In an era where words hold a lot of meaning and emotion, especially when it comes to art that people connect with, I can certainly understand and would defend a piece of art I thought deserved it. I'll equate it to getting a handmade gift as opposed to something generic from Home Goods. You know the person or people took a longer time with it, and that love and creation have a certain emotional attachment. Indie games have skyrocketed in the past 20 years. There's a lot of reasons for that, but the main ones are publishing being easier and game engines being more accessible. As the popularity of the indie genre increased and more developers claimed to be that very thing, the word itself became bloated. There will always be gray areas. Take for example developer Moon Studios, who made Ori and the Blind Forest. They did get their funding and publishing from Microsoft, but their own small team developed the game. On the other side of the spectrum, you have people wanting Baldur's Gate 3 to be considered indie. While Larian is not EA or Blizzard, I have a hard time believing that that is an indie title. While doing my research for this video, I saw 4 emerging circles that convene into a Venn diagram. Indie games are developed by small teams, small or tiny budget, full artistic control over the project, and new or risky gameplay concepts. So let's go through some games and see how this feels when we go through this grading system. Okay, let's spin the wheel, and the first up is Amnesia the Dark Descent. We have Frictional Games, which has 25 employees, so check on the small team. $360,000 budget, not bad compared to some other games, looking at you, Star Citizen. Even though Paradox Interactive helped as a publisher in rocky times, the studio self-published Amnesia the Dark Descent, and finally artistic control and new gameplay concepts. Check and check. Amnesia did a great job at bringing this type of horror genre to gaming. And all of those things made Amnesia a great game, if you like horror. And many will defend it because it is an indie title that went above and beyond what the current AAA titles were doing at the time. And with that innovation, I truly think that those types of indie games become people's handmade pottery. It transcends just being a game. It becomes something more. With that in mind, let's find out what our next game is. Dave the Diver? I was genuinely shocked when I was doing my research and this game came up. When explaining to my friends and family about game developing and being an indie developer, I pointed to Dave the Diver as a way to explain what indie meant. There's a great article from Jesse Lennox at Digital Trends which puts it perfectly. Quote, Dave the Diver was developed by Mint Rocket, which is owned entirely by Nexon, a multi-billion-dollar South Korean publisher. That's hardly what one thinks of when they hear the term indie, but it was an easy mistake to make on its surface. End quote. So let's go through that list. Dave the Diver does have a small team, around 25-26 devs, so yes. But when finding the budget, however, I had a lot of trouble finding exact numbers. Tom Sennett claims that the budget was $100 million. Some others claim much lower. Regardless, Dave the Diver does not check the box for a small budget. Mr. Lennox continues the article by saying, The creative small-scale game features a pixel art style that's usually reserved for indie games these days. So, is this artistic freedom? Or was this a mega corporation that paid hundreds of thousands of dollars of QA sessions and test groups to choose this art style because they knew it would appeal to the indie audience? Some might call this nefarious, and quite honestly, I was taken aback. I'm sure you formed your own opinion, but I'm giving a no to artistic freedom. Let's check the new or risky gameplay concepts. Not really, right? I've only played 4 or 5 hours of the game, and I've heard great things, yet nothing has seemed revolutionary. It's a 2D side-scrolling game. At least when I played, nothing shouted at me like Cuphead or Return of the Obra Dinn. So if we were using our metrics, Dave the Diver isn't an indie game. Let that sit for a minute. And now let me ask you the question, does it even matter? Does any of this actually matter? It really goes back to what we were talking about before. Is a good game regardless of whether it is indie or not? I think so. Yet, is it right to sell the image and feel of an indie game when it fits none of the criteria that's generally accepted as indie? I don't believe so. There is something so special about a product that you know was worked on by dedicated folks just like yourself. There is a lot of pride in making your own thing and working with others to achieve group goals. So does it matter how we label indie games? I honestly think so. I hope video game media as a whole starts a tonal and tangible shift in that direction. But I kind of doubt it. With money comes power, and with power comes narrative. As developers are being bought out more and more by bigger studios or publishers, the way we are reading, viewing, and watching gaming journalism and gaming as a whole is changing. Stay vigilant. Defend your art piece civilly and with words. If it matters to you, that is truly wonderful. And if it doesn't, I know you'll keep enjoying games. This is a really complex topic because it involves not just people that play games, but the institutions and systems of gaming itself. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This was such an interesting topic to look into. I'm really happy I did this. I was shocked about the Dave the Diver stuff. Anyways, again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And as always, see you next time.